に光開ける波を今私は見る Attention please Attention please 揺れ動く愛の雲間を一筋に
Hey, how's it going tonight? This is DemonDriver, and this is a status report on this bird, Japan Airlines Convair 880, circa 1961. And let me tell you something. It took, I had to back up pretty far to be able to get this entire plane in frame. This on camera. This thing is huge. 88 inches long. That's almost 7.5 feet. Wingspan, about 81, 82 inch wingspan. This is an enormous, enormous airplane. This was the, if I'm not mistaken, this was the first jet airline or Japan Airlines employed in '61. They flew this before they flew the DC-8-10 series, and then the 30 series, and then the 55 series, and then they went into the Super 61, the Super 62, and so on and so forth. But yeah, this is she's coming along. I hope to have her maidened by midsummer or late summer. I hope to have this girl in the air. Let's get a little bit closer here, and let's give you guys a closer tour of this new Demon liner. So tonight I basically mocked up the elevators. The rudder, the elevators aren't hard attached yet. I've got them into the tail section. The wings are a new form of building, a new technology that I'm using, where I'm hot wiring out these wings, and it's a solid wing hot wired out of a 2-inch block of foam, and I can actually get a much more efficient airfoil out of this style of building as opposed to my older style, which was really kind of a high-speed airfoil that was more cruciform if anything else. It just wasn't as efficient. This may not be exactly optimal for the highest of air speeds, but it's actually closer to that of the real Convair 880 as opposed to something that I would build in my my sandwich technique of 2 3mm Depron sandwiched over. This technique is a little bit better. So here she is. If you were looking at her from the ground, she is just absolutely an enormous airplane. She really is huge. Big plane. The upper, that's been molded. Nose section is completely molded. I have molded it, and I'm also doing the Convair 990. So I have a lot more of these birds coming. But this thing is just huge. This is a big plane. And here's the engine nacelle. This is the 880's engine nacelle for this bird, and it will fit a 70mm EDF. 68 to a 70, can't go over 70 with this baby because it's just so small. But it's perfectly scale. This is a perfectly scale, engine for this airplane. You're going to have 4 of those babies on each wing, and that's going to be fine. But this will be molded. This is the master right here. And then here is the 990's engine nacelle. Now this gives me a little bit more room to go to possibly an 80 or a 90mm EDF. As you can see, this is a bit bigger because on the real 990 it had a weird bypass intake where in the central portion was the 990 had the 880's engine, but it was basically, it had a central channel that went to the compressor, which was in the back. The compressor was in the back, and it was just backwards from a normal turbofan. It was weird. It was a very weird setup. But the 990 was weird. It had the engine. It had the fuel tank speed bumps, or they were supposed to be fuel blisters on the trailing edge of the wings, but they created fluttering, and they created they would oscillate and flutter in flight, so it just didn't work. There's a little bit better view of her from the from up above. But you can just see this thing is just enormous. It's hard to, I can't even get this whole plane on one, on camera at one time because it's just so huge. I mean, this is one big airplane. This next to the MD-80. This is the biggest in my Concorde. This thing is just huge. Actually, to show you how big it is, take a look at this. If you want to see something real funny, look at this. This is my 6-foot Boeing 707-120 series next to the much larger scale Convair 880 Japan Airlines. Now, that 707 is 6 feet long, okay? And the 880 is 88 inches long. So you can see there's a, Now, obviously, they're not the same scale. The 880 is a much larger, about 2 scales bigger than the 707. Now, in reality, the 707-120 series and the 880 were basically the same size. The 120 might have been a hair longer, maybe 5 to 10 feet longer. The 120 was the first true, the first true variant of the 707, past the Dash 8, the KC-135 tanker. Yeah, so. And if you thought the 880 is big, here is my new 990, which is 92 inches long, which is 4 inches bigger than the 880. This is the Convair 990, American Airlines. That plane, yep, that plane right there. Isn't that awesome? And here she is, fiberglass, molded nose section, fiberglass upper tail section, still have to do the lower tail section. But this thing is a behemoth. I mean, just take a look at this thing. This is 92 inches long. Is that crazy or what? I mean, look at this. I can't even, I bet it's not even in frame. This thing is just so enormous. This thing is big. Big, 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 man. One big bird right here. Big airplane. So this will be, I don't think I'm going to chrome it with chrome monocoat, because I've learned the hard way that when you chrome an airplane out and you put it in the air, it becomes a big mirror, and you basically can no longer, the plane just disappears. So I'm going to do it with a chrome paint, so it's chrome-ish. I mean, it looks chrome, but it's not like a flying mirror. So when it's in the air, it's like if the sky is blue, the plane becomes like the sky, and you're like, well, where's my airplane? But this is DemonDriver here. I appreciate your time and everything. Appreciate your subscribership. Subscribe to me, I subscribe to you, and appreciate the comments and the questions. Keep them coming. I will answer them as soon as I get them. This is DemonDriver. God bless, take care, and thank you.